Hello! Today we're going to do a brief overview of Webex in preparation for your virtual learning session. We'll go over a couple of basic functionalities you'll need to know to participate in the session, including how to use audio and visual components, emojis, chat, polling, whiteboards, and breakout sessions. To start, we're going to go over the audio and visual components. When you're getting connected, you'll have a pop-up that looks something like this. That's asking you whether you want to connect your audio through your phone or your computer. If you select the phone option, you can type your number in here and it will give you a call and connect you. Personally, I just use my computer audio, which seems to work fine for me, but it's really your choice. If you do not get that pop-up there, you can always go to the audio tab at the top and connect the same way. You'll see over here, I'm logged in as guest. I have a little icon for a video camera next to me, so that's what it looks like when you've got it turned on. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to turn it off. I'm also going to put myself on mute over here. During the session, we'll ask that for the majority of the time you have your camera turned off as well as your microphone, just to preserve bandwidth and also to ensure that we're not getting any feedback. You might have kids or pets in the background, and so just to make sure that we're not being disruptive, that will probably be the best way to have your default settings. We do have emojis over here that we'd like to use throughout the session to signal I'm understanding, or I have some questions, or I'd like to share some input. So here you see I've put a little smiley face next to myself. I might just use that to suggest agreement. We've also got a lot of other great ones, like here's this coffee symbol. I might use that if I get up at a time that's not a scheduled break, just to signal I'm away. The little light bulb can be helpful to say, I have an idea. If you have this up, we will call on you and ask you to come on video and off mute so that you can share your input. We've also got a hand raise if you want to ask a question, an X to signal disagreement, a check to signal agreement. We've got a little go slower, go faster icon over here, so you can really indicate a lot of what you're feeling through these emojis over here without having to come off your microphone or off your video. So just to make it a little bit easier to communicate during the session, you can rely on those. Next, we'll go over the chat here. In your chat box, you have different options. You want to chat to just the host, the presenter, host presenter, and attendees. You can go ahead and make that selection, and then down below you can type a note in. And so I'll show you what it looks like when you type a note in and send it here in the chat box. I'm going to select to do it to all attendees, so everybody who is in the session can see it. So I've said hello. You can see it's from myself, guest, to all attendees. Now let's say I just wanted to privately chat with somebody. I can say I have a question or something like this. You see it's from myself, who's the guest, to Jacqueline Opegard, and you see it even says in parentheses that it's private. So not everybody can see that chat item there. If you do have a question, we'll ask that you really do that through the Q&A is probably the best way to do it if you don't want to come off your microphone. Next here, we're going to learn about polling. You see we've got a poll up over here on the right-hand side, and we'll use several of these throughout the session. You can select either yes or no. During the session, we'll have multiple choice responses, so we might have 4 or 5 responses. I'm going to go ahead and select no, and I've clicked submit down there. And you can see we've got 3, almost 4 minutes remaining on the timer here. We won't let it go that long. We'll pull up the results. So here you go, you can see the results. I'm obviously the only person who answered on this, but you can see 1 of 1, 100% of people went ahead and chose no. Next, we're going to see an overview of how to use a whiteboard. So we can see our presenter shared with us a whiteboard and asked a question. What is your favorite summer activity? I can go ahead and change the color of my font. I've changed it to green here, and I'm going to select my text box, and then I can start typing in my responses. I can type in as many as I want. So I've typed in some of my favorite summer activities, and we can have everybody working on this at the same time so that we can get a gauge of how everyone's feeling. Let's say you see something that somebody put on there that you want to agree with or emphasize. You can use your little pointer here, which will display the name you've selected, and you can point to somebody else's response. You can also erase responses here, or you can go ahead and do things like clear all your annotations or your pointer. You won't be able to clear other people's. Next, let's learn about breakout sessions. So you'll see here, I have an invitation to a breakout session, and I'm going to go ahead and click that, yes, I want to join that breakout session. My host has invited me there. So we see over on the right-hand side, we've joined our breakout session, and it's asking me how I want to connect again. Maybe you want to connect using your phone rather than your computer now. The breakout sessions look really similar to the regular session. You'll just be with a smaller group of your peers. You can use those things like agree or disagree. You don't have your emojis in here, but you can agree or disagree or raise your hand. You can chat to people in the breakout session, all breakout session participants, or you can choose specific people you want to chat with. A good thing to know in here is how to mute yourself. It's not, that mute button is grayed out, but you can just click the audio button and manually click on your microphone there. It's a little bit more cumbersome than just clicking the mute button, but that can help mute you. Otherwise, it can get a little bit loud in the breakout sessions. Same thing to unmute yourself, just click the audio button and click your microphone again. We'll see the breakout session end here soon, but do know you won't be able to pull your camera on in the breakout session. Webex doesn't allow us to do that. Thank you for watching this tutorial. We will see you in the session.